Right now at 5, Joplin police make an arrest in connection with a Monday shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital.
There's a few showers out to the west, and we could see some additional pop-up storms across the area. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, KOAM's Ty Park shows us how area families are taking some time to hit the water this summer.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Anthony Saviello.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Wednesday here in the 4 states. It's what, the 19th?
Yeah,
hard to believe.
Juneteenth.
It is Juneteenth.
Happy holidays to everyone out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We get some rain. Not much, but we got some out there.
Just a little bit.
We have some chances for a little bit more today, so it's been kind of hot.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've noticed.
Could use a cool off.
Certainly, unfortunately, that part's not going to happen.
We're
in the summertime. You get that rain, all it does is crank the humidity level. It rains for 10 minutes.
Take me back to negative degrees, and I'll be happy. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that either. I've embarrassed myself already. So,
all right, okay, let's not do that. But I will tell you about some rain. Let's start first with a look outside from our camera on the Cornell complex before Anthony swallows his entire leg. This is some cloud cover from our camera here on the Cornell complex. Still a bit breezy this morning. Those winds will begin to calm down, and we'll have those clouds gradually increase through the day. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking pretty good as well. So here's the Skywatch storm tracker. And out to our west, we've got a cold front out there, and it triggered some strong, even severe thunderstorms much further west. But that cold front is going to start to kind of stall out. And as it does so, it's not going to advance this rain any further west, or at least not significantly further west. So let's say this line, Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, down into northeastern Oklahoma, you're going to have slightly better chances of more organized rainfall as we head through the morning, early afternoon. Now, a lot of this is already beginning to die out. It's almost as if it's hitting the brick wall, because take a look at how thick all that rain was, and then it's kind of hitting that wall. So it's not going to make it much further past that, but it will be the catalyst for some additional pop-up thunderstorms across the area. So see, up around Yates Center, better chances of at least some more organized shower and thunderstorm activity. For the rest of us heading into the afternoon and evening, it is isolated to widely scattered at best. Temperatures around the region. Now, because that cold front's on your back door, you can see just to the northwest of Yates Center, it's a little cooler. The rest of us, not bad this morning. A little better to start the day. Upper 60s, low mid 70s across the area. We're still going to be hot today, back into the upper 80s. And again, maybe a couple of low 90-degree readings out there. And pop-up storm chances gradually increase a little bit as we head into the afternoon. And they'll begin to die out later this evening once we lose the heating of the day. We'll have another look at your forecast, break down some of those storm chances and how this weekend is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Anthony?
All right, Chris, thanks. Voters in Oklahoma cast their ballots for a few races yesterday in Ottawa, Delaware, and Craig counties. That included the Republican primary for state senator for District 1. Michael Bergstrom beats out Houston Britton for the spot. For the Republican nomination of Delaware County Sheriff, Ray Thomas wins over James Beck. Incumbent Delaware County Clerk Barbara Barnes once again wins the Republican nomination. She beats out Ginia Yeager. And the town of Bernice, Oklahoma votes to extend a 1.5% sales tax to fund city projects. Joplin authorities have released the name of the suspect in Monday night's double shooting, and we're learning more about the circumstances. They've arrested 19-year-old D.W. Bryant of Joplin. Police were seeking charges for first-degree assault, first-degree robbery, and armed criminal action. Police believe Bryant shot 2 men on the 1700 block of South Annie Baxter Avenue Monday night while trying to steal marijuana from one of them. Bryant fled the scene but was found nearby. Bryant was initially arrested for outstanding warrants. Police later determined he was a suspect in the shootings. The 2 victims are a 19-year-old man who was shot in the abdomen and a 20-year-old man who had multiple gunshot wounds to both legs.
2 individuals that did have injuries from gunshot wound injuries here on the scene. Currently, they're listed in serious but stable condition.
Bryant has a criminal history, and for the armed robbery of a pizza delivery driver, part of his probation in that case states he may not possess a firearm. Summertime for many families means getting out of the house and hitting a favorite vacation spot. One such spot is the Crawford State Park in Farmington, Kansas. KOAM's chief photojournalist Ty Parks gives us a bird's eye view of that park.
So Crawford State Park was originally constructed in the 1930s as a fishing lake. It wasn't designated as a state park until 1965. So it was built by the CCC, which is a Civilian Conservation Corps, with the idea it was a fishing lake, and then designated as a state park in 1965. Approximately 120 or so private homes in our park, which makes us unique. A lot of state parks don't have private lots for sale. So we do have the private land ownership, and then everything surrounding the homes is owned by the state and the park. So we have a beautiful lake, 150 acres, mostly used for fishing. We get a lot of boaters out here, jet skis, people tubing, just wanting to have fun. We have 83 utility campsites, which is either electric or electric and water, 28 primitive campsites. We have group use areas that families can rent out and enjoy kind of more privately and secluded from the rest of the campsites. We have beautiful hiking trails. 3 just for hiking, 1 is hiking and biking. There's a lot of history. We have the Spider Leg Trail, which is down by the hatchery, which holds a lot of history to it. You can see old structures from the original CCC camp that was here. Have 5 cabins to rent. They're beautiful. They were remodeled this winter, inside and out. People really enjoy those. Great view of the water and more secluded from the campgrounds, a little more privacy. And just enjoying the people. You know, we have the Marina restaurant out here, which is really popular with people. So, favorite part, I gotta say the wildlife out here. Just coming out every morning, and you know, you're always met by deer, wild turkey. We have a few bald eagles that hang out around here. I just love seeing the wildlife. You know, we're a smaller park compared to some in the state, so we have fewer staff members, but the whole team does a great job keeping this place looking beautiful, all the buildings functioning for our guests, which is really important to them, to have access to the bathhouses, the showers, keeping everything just in good shape.
The Crawford State Park is also known as a quality perch and crappie fishery. Anglers can also reel in catfish, largemouth, bass, or northern pike, just in case you're planning for next year's National Go Fishing Day. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in your first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. PSU softball is showing how good of a year they had, then several players earned academic honors. Plus, Russian President Putin makes his first trip to North Korea in over 20 years. We'll see how North Korea invited the Russian president. And Chris will have a full look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Well, Pittsburgh State softball is getting the job done both on the diamond and in the classroom. College sports communicators announced yesterday that 3 members of the Gorillas team received academic All-American honors. Heather Arnett is named a first-team academic All-American. She has a 3.8 GPA while pursuing a bachelor's degree in elementary education. This comes after Arnett was also named a first-team All-American from the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. Hannah Burnett is a second-team academic All-American and has a perfect 4.0 GPA while pursuing a Master's of Business Administration. She was a third-team All-American on the field, and Hannah Martin is a third-team honoree. She also has a perfect 4.0 GPA as a history major. Pittsburgh State Athletics announces its 2024 Hall of Fame class yesterday. 8 Gorilla alumni will be inducted into the Hall of Fame the weekend of October the 5th. Plenty of names you might recognize. Current PSU women's basketball head coach Amanda David, 2011 national champion and former NFL wide receiver John Brown, along with Pitt State football's current assistant coach and passing game coordinator Mark Smith. We have more details on all 8 inductees on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com/sports. Missouri Southern softball has 4 players signed to its 2025 recruiting class. The team announced this week. Ashlyn Hewlett, who just graduated from Rogers High School in Arkansas, and her high school teammate Cadence Janey, also from Rogers. Bailey Jonah Dillon from Olathe North and Easton Walter from Grain Valley High School in Missouri have also signed to play. All 4 of them are eligible to play next season. Cy Darnell, who just redshirted his freshman year at Missouri Southern, is playing for the Jefferson City Renegades this summer. Yesterday, he's named the Mink League Player of the Week. The 2023 Webb City grad is batting .500 in his last 4 games and leads the league with his .400 batting average on the season. The Joplin Outlaws are more than a quarter of the way through their inaugural season in the Mid-America League. They entered play last night in sole possession of second place. They faced Abilene, who's in first place. This one was back and forth for most of the night. The Outlaws opened up a 4-0 lead, but after that point, the Flying Bison scored 5 unanswered runs. Joplin then tied it at 5. In the end, the Outlaws lost 7-6. The loss moves the Outlaws to third place. Over to Major League Baseball. If the postseason were to begin today, both the Royals and Cardinals would be in control of the second wild card spot in their league. Cardinals beat the Marlins in 12 innings on Monday. Last night, they lost in 10 innings. Final score 9-8. The Cards scored 1 run in the top of the 10th to take the lead, but allowed 2 runs to score in the bottom half of the inning and lose on a walk-off single. Series finale is this morning in Miami. Over on the West Coast, the Royals had all sorts of trouble with the last-placed A's. The Royals lose their first game of the series, 7-5. Royals scored their 3 runs off a home run from Nick Lofton and an RBI groundout from Michael Garcia. Still to come, summer heat. It's definitely here. We're going to have some tips that'll help keep you cool. Plus, speaking of that summer heat, we're going to tell you when those temperatures heat back up and about some rain chances in our future when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:17 now on this Wednesday morning. We're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker because, as you can see, we have a few stray showers and even a couple of little thunderstorms into our far western counties out there. These aren't really going to move much more. They're associated with a cold front that's kind of stalling out, and they're almost hitting a brick wall. Now, we could see some slightly more organized shower and thunderstorm chances, maybe as far east as this line, say Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, back down into Newata County in northeastern Oklahoma. But if we put this in motion, you'll see that brick wall I'm talking about. See how organized it was in the beginning? And then as it gets closer to our area, it just is having a hard time maintaining. But at least some of our far western counties make it a little more meaningful rainfall today. The rest of us are going to have to contend with some pop-up showers and storms, and that's going to be the best we can do. So here we are at about noon, and if you watch the future track, you'll see too that brick wall just lines up almost right over Yates Center and stops there. So we have those showers and storms, the organized ones that are going to bring actual meaningful rainfall hitting that wall. Across the rest of the areas, we head through the afternoon and into the evening, we get those pop-up showers and storms. And as you can see, there's a few more of them out there. So a few more of us will get rain, but there's also going to be a number of us who will remain dry as we head through the day as well. Once we get into the evening, again, that cold front isn't really moving all that much, and so some of those showers could hang on into the late evening, early overnight hours into parts of our far northwestern counties out there. Yates Center, you're going to probably be the closest to getting some actual meaningful rainfall. The rest of us are going to go partly cloudy overnight. Clouds will increase on our Thursday. We'll go mostly cloudy. And the future track is showing the possibility of some additional isolated pop-up showers or storms as we head into the afternoon and evening hours out there. But again, most of us look to remain dry. Our UV index, our UV index today is again at an 11, which is extreme, keeping your burn time for unprotected skin at less than 10 minutes. So do make sure you're taking precautions. However, we now have that mix of minor to moderate heat risk. So the minor is heat index values about 90 to 95, and of course that moderate is that 95 to 100. As we go into Thursday, it sticks like that, but then as we head into the weekend, you can see things really start to heat up. We see the major return, which is heat index values of 100 to 105 by Saturday. By Sunday, the purple, that's extreme, starts to show up, and by Monday, there's a lot more of the major danger, and extreme. The extreme is heat index values in excess of 105 degrees. So we're talking dangerous heat will return. So again, a quick reminder on those safety tips. Early morning walks with your pets. Make sure they're indoors otherwise. Keep your kids hydrated. Try and keep them inside if you can. Keep yourself hydrated if you do have to be outside working. And of course, make sure you're checking on the elderly. Quick look at temperatures. You can see we've got clouds out there from all that activity far out to the west. 71 in Joplin right now, and around the region, a little bit better start for most of us. We've been in the mid 70s here lately, upper 70s even. We've got some upper 60s and low to mid 70s across the area. As we get our morning underway, we'll be partly cloudy. Again, maybe a few of those stray showers or storms in our far western counties. Low 80s by 11 o'clock. That's ahead of highs today going into the upper 80s, and again, maybe some low 90s. We'll be mostly cloudy tomorrow. Again, upper 80s as we head into the weekend, though. More pop-up storm chances, which is good. We could use some additional rain, but the heat also returns. Look at that, low, mid, maybe even upper 90s as we head into next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, senators are taking another look at the origins of the coronavirus pandemic and a theory once derided from conspiratorial is gaining acceptance. Chad Pergram reports.
There was a time when the government and media scoffed at the notion that COVID materialized in a lab.
Just like the Hunter Biden laptop story, the experts said this was disinformation.
But that theory no longer flits around the fringes. Senators questioned Tulane Medical School Dean Robert Gary. He co-authored a 2020 article arguing a lab leak couldn't spark the pandemic.
So you're saying that what did it come to you overnight?
There was new data that
like
came
a revelation from God. It's amazing.
Gary reaffirmed his position today, but concedes the science evolved. However, the face of the pandemic response is now more open to the lab leak theory.
We don't know what the origin of this virus is. I keep a completely open mind.
Gary sparred with senators about his article indicating a natural origin.
That is scientific misconduct and fraud. We didn't put anything in that paper that we didn't believe was true. That's not fraud, sir. That is just the way that the scientific method works.
Other scientists upbraided Gary.
This is the most egregious form of scientific misconduct, publishing a paper where you know the conclusions are untrue.
Questions linger about what went down in Wuhan.
It's one jump from one animal to one human. The most likely place that happens is in a laboratory.
But China is impenetrable when it comes to the pandemic.
The Chinese government may never fully disclose all the information they have.
Still, some senators acknowledge COVID origins may remain a stumper.
We might be 98% or something, but we'll always be a little uncertain.
Kansas Attorney General is suing Pfizer for what he says are misleading claims about the company made about its COVID-19 vaccine. Kobach accuses the pharmaceutical company of lying when it called its vaccine safe and effective. He cites reported risks of causing specific heart conditions and pregnancy issues. He also claims Pfizer lied about the vaccine's effectiveness in the long term and against COVID variants. Pfizer issued a response stating Kobach's lawsuit has no merit. The company says it's based all of its statements about the COVID-19 vaccine in science and fact, and that patient safety always comes first. The heat can be dangerous, and emergency rooms are expecting more patients with heat-related illnesses during the heat event. That's why doctors say it's best to limit your time outside with temperatures soaring, and it's critical to stay hydrated even before you go outside. CBS's Stephanie Stahl has more on how to keep your family safe.
The start of a scorching heat wave is underway, with people finding ways to beat the heat.
We have lots of water.
And splashing in the water, kids are keeping cool.
It's nice to have areas like this where we can cool down and get the kids outside, but, keep them cool.
Doctors say heat dangers add up after consecutive days of this spring sizzle. Health issues can start with heat cramps, then get more serious with heat exhaustion, and heat stroke can be deadly. Symptoms can vary, but the signs of heat exhaustion are dizziness, fatigue, cramps, and a rapid pulse. With heat stroke, people will get confused, they may start vomiting, and could stop sweating.
We're prepared to manage that. There's all sorts of things that we can do to both hydrate patients as well as manage their core temperature by cooling them either with intravenous cooled fluids, or we have other ways of doing that as well.
Dr. William Gray with Mainline Health says the emergency department is ready for the expected increase in patients with heat-related illnesses, with children and the elderly being at higher risk.
Best thing I can tell you, don't come outside.
Lou Joyner says he's getting his errands done early.
I want to just go back inside. I pay for that air conditioner. I want to go and enjoy it.
And for people who have to work in the heat like Jim Carberry, best to pace yourself and stay hydrated.
Do what you got to do, make people happy in the summer heat.
Good thing, because Jim has the all-important job of delivering ice cream. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Doctors say the heat can be especially dangerous for people with existing medical conditions, as well as the elderly and children. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. Let's take a look at Chris with the forecast.
Yeah, we've got another hot day out there, slightly more manageable heat index values for us, and the opportunity for some showers. Well, I'm going to look at your forecast when we come back.
Good morning, I'm Anthony Saviello with your KOAM news updates. Joplin authorities arrested a 19-year-old D.W. Bryant for Joplin shooting 2 people Monday evening. Police believe Bryant shot 2 men on the 1700 block of South Annie Baxter while trying to steal marijuana from one of them. He then fled the scene but was found later nearby. He was initially arrested for outstanding warrants but was later determined that he was a suspect in the shootings. A federal court judge has sentenced Eric Hedman for receiving and distributing child pornography. Hedman was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison without parole. The court also sentenced Hedman to 10 years of supervised release following incarceration, and Hedman will have to register as a sex offender. Hedman, who operated his practice at Hedman Chiropractic at the time of the offense, pleaded guilty on December 14th.
We got another hot day. A few pop-up showers and thunderstorms possible. I think most of us, though, unfortunately, will remain dry. Temperatures upper 80s and maybe some low 90s. Heat index values around the mid 90s. Isolated storms again possible through the evening. Once we lose daytime heating, we lose the storms. We'll fall back in the low 70s tonight. Maybe a pop-up shower too tomorrow. Heat continues to increase into the weekend. Mid 90s with more pop-up storm chances.
Right now at 5:30, authorities are investigating a crash involving a Jasper County deputy.
And it's going to be another hot one across the 4 states today, and maybe a few pop-up storms. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door, coming up.
Plus, KOAM's Amber Jenkins shares how a group in Fort Scott is working towards beautifying the east side of town.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's currently 5:31. I'm Anthony Saviello.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Wednesday. It's June the 19th, and here we are. It's Juneteenth.
Yeah.
A lot of folks have the day off, and an important holiday across the country, and it's, unfortunately for us, the heat not taking a holiday.
Yeah, no. So be careful out there during your celebrations.
You absolutely do need to be. I know we've talked about it every day since the temperatures got hot, but we do that because we just want to kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind that you've got to be playing it safe out there.
Absolutely.
Let's start with this. This is going to be a look at the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Rangeline in Joplin. It's looking back to the west. Now, like yesterday, once daylight comes out, it'll kind of refocus itself, but at night it has a bit of a hard time doing that. But otherwise, it looks pretty good. We're doing all right. Skywatch Storm Tracker shows us this. We have a cold front out to our west. Now, the thing with this cold front is it's going to kind of stall out. And on top of that, this activity, it is like it is hitting a brick wall out to our west. So I think we've got the possibility of some, not necessarily this batch of heavier rain, but at least some meaningful rainfall reaching maybe as far east as this line. So from Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence, down into Nowata County in northeastern Oklahoma. However, once we put this in motion, see all how well that was organized, and then it starts to enter our far western counties. It's dying out, breaking apart. That's why it's not really going to do much for most of us. But really, in future track data, Yates Center, Burlington, you two look to be the most likely to get some meaningful rainfall out of this. So as we head into the afternoon, there's some of those showers and storms. As we go later into the afternoon, we do have that opportunity for some pop-up showers and storms around the area. The good news is no severe weather expected. And of course, as we start to lose the heating of the day, we will lose those storm chances. Temperatures considerably better for some of us this morning. Look at Cassville, 67, 68 Monette, low to mid 70s for the rest of us. us as we get the day underway, but it will still get hot. We're back to the upper 80s, maybe some low 90s, and again, some isolated pop-up thunderstorm chances. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies and the winds easing up as well. They won't be gusting like they have the last couple of days. We have we'll have another look at your forecast, talking about these rain chances. Now the weekend is shaping up and just how hot it's going to get here in just a few more minutes. Anthony?
Thanks, Chris. No one was seriously hurt in a traffic accident involving a Jasper County deputy yesterday in Joplin. It happened at the intersection of 7th and Main Street just before 11 o'clock. Authorities say the driver of a pickup truck failed to yield at the intersection and struck the deputy's vehicle. A federal court judge has sentenced a Joplin man, chiropractor, for receiving and distributing child pornography. Eric Hedman was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison without parole. The court has also sentenced Hedman to 10 years of supervised release following incarceration, and Hedman will have to register as a sex offender. Hedman, who operated his own practice at Hedman Chiropractic at the time of the offense, pleaded guilty on December 14th. Yesterday was National Go Fishing Day, and some local anglers were out casting their lines. Kellogg Park in Carthage turned out to be the perfect spot to reel in the big one, or make up the perfect story about reeling in the big one. If you have proof of your big catch yesterday, post your pictures on social media with the hashtag National Go Fishing Day. The Carthage Chamber of Commerce celebrated a milestone for a local landmark. The Precious Moments Chapel and Gardens marked its 35th anniversary with a ribbon cutting yesterday. The event served not only as a way to look back on the chapel's history, but also as a way to look forward.
We have a lot of exciting things coming in the future. We hope to build on Mr. Butcher's dream as well and to keep going with all that he's planned. And we have just redone the museum to tell the complete story of his life.
The occasion marked one of the first events Precious Moments has had since the passing of its creator and founder, Sam Butcher, who died last month at the age of 85. The inaugural Joplin Police Department Summer School Kids Academy came to a close yesterday. Participating sixth graders got to experience what it's like being a police officer. Kids got to tour JPD facilities and learned all about law enforcement careers, including SWAT and K-9 programs. They also got a chance to practice their handcuff skills on some officers. Chief Pearson presented all the kids with a certificate of completion. Some Joplin residents added a little color to their wardrobes yesterday evening. The Joplin Equality Group hosted a tie-dye night at Mercy Park. Folks were able to swing by with white clothes and turn them into unique kaleidoscopic works of art. It was open to anyone, no matter how much the dyeing experience they had. City officials in Fort Scott are beautifying the east side of town, starting with upgrades at 3rd Street Park. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
Beautification projects in Fort Scott, Kansas are underway, focusing on parks like on 3rd Street.
We have done a lot of work on the 3rd Street Park bathrooms in particular. For as long as I can remember, they've only had toilets in those bathrooms. On each side, they didn't have sinks. So this year, we had new sinks installed, just adding some things like toilet paper holders, paper towel holders, trash cans, things that we didn't have before previously. It was very bare minimum before.
The project is paid for with grants and with Evergy's donation of a 35-foot Wi-Fi pole.
So we would be able to control the bathroom locks and the security cameras. So we've been working on that for a long time, but it's wrapping up now.
According to city officials, 3rd Street's park bathrooms are set to open in a couple of weeks. Teenagers living near the park say it's just in time for summer plans.
Be outside a lot and play and go to parks and stuff.
Recently, a fire incident happened at the park, burning parts of the playground. The teens say the charcoal remnants are a reminder to take care of what the city improves.
I think that kids around here should be more respectful with the play equipment and not be disrespectful and just roundhouse around and destroy stuff. Definitely things could be much better around here. I do think Fort Scott is a pretty place, but definitely could be worked on.
Reporting in Fort Scott, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Referred to happened just 3 days ago. The Fort Scott Police Department observed smoke coming from the playground area. Fire crews arrived to find a piece of playground equipment fully engulfed in flames. While there are currently no suspects, this incident is under investigation as an arson. The playground equipment is valued at $1,000. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour of the KOAM Morning News. The Biden administration have announced a plan to streamline the process for American citizenship. We'll have the details. We'll see how scientists are moving to help save the world's wild panda population. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Got another hot one out there today, upper 80s, maybe some low 90s, and some pop-up storm chances possible. We won't all see rain, but at least a few of us might get a little bit. And as we head into the evening, those pop-up storms will die out as we lose the daytime heating, falling back into low 70s with partly cloudy skies. A few pop-up showers possible tomorrow, and then we'll see pop-up storm chances return as we head into next week, as does the heat. Temperatures low, mid, maybe even upper 90s.
Topping World Watch, nuclear submarines of Russia's Northern Fleet launched cruise missiles at sea targets as part of exercises in the Barents Sea. Russia's TASS state news agency reported early this morning, citing the fleet's press service. The nuclear submarine missile cruisers of Northern Fleet carried out practical missile firings at sea targets in the Barents Sea. The agency cited the press service as saying, Russian President Vladimir Putin was welcomed by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at a grand ceremony in Pyongyang today, ahead of summit talks where the leaders have pledged to develop their nation's ties. The ceremony was held at Kim Il-sung Square, where crowds of North Koreans gathered by the Grand People's Study Hall to greet the two leaders. Russian media said that this is Putin's first trip to the North Korean capital in 24 years, a visit likely to reshape decades of Russia-North Korea relations at a time when both countries face international isolation. A major victory for marriage equality in Thailand during Pride Month. The Senate voted to support a landmark bill on Tuesday that will legalize same-sex marriage, paving the way for it to become the first country in Southeast Asia to recognize same-sex couples. The bill, which was approved by nearly all the lawmakers, comes after more than 2 decades of effort from activists and politicians. It will give same-sex couples equal access to marriage as well as the same rights in areas including child adoption and healthcare consent. President Biden is announcing today a large-scale immigration program that will offer legal status and a streamlined path to U.S. citizenship to roughly 500,000 undocumented immigrants. Skylar Henry reports from Washington, D.C.
President Biden's immigration relief program would provide a path to citizenship to about 500,000 unauthorized immigrants who are living in this country and are married to American citizens. They would have to live in the U.S. for at least 10 years and pass a background check. Right now, it can be very difficult for these individuals to get a green card, and it often involves leaving the country for a period of time to do it. Under Biden's plan, those who qualify would be able to apply for permanent residence and would be allowed to stay and work without fear of deportation. The action will particularly benefit DACA recipients or dreamers who were brought to the U.S. as children. This is the president's second major move on immigration this month. 2 weeks ago, he announced sweeping restrictions on migrants seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border.
This ban will remain in place until the number of people trying to enter illegally is reduced to a level that our system can effectively manage.
A senior administration official said the new program is expected to start taking applications by the end of the summer, but the policy is sure to face legal challenges. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
The policy is also expected to benefit an estimated 50,000 immigrant children with a parent who is married to a U.S. citizen. Undocumented stepchildren of U.S. citizens who must also leave the country to obtain green cards will be eligible to if they are under the age of 21. That's a look at some of the biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:46 on this Wednesday morning. We're starting with the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Got a few showers in some of our far western counties, and these are very few at best, as we've had a line of storms that was severe over late evening, overnight, farther west of us. It's really fallen apart now. It's almost as though there's a brick wall just right here that it's run into. But we could see some of these showers and storms make it as far east as, again, Burlington, Yates Center, Fredonia, Independence. But future track data suggests, say, Burlington Yates Center, this is going to be the best zone right here into Greenwood County as well for any actual meaningful rainfall today. But you can see this nice line of activity just kind of hit that wall and start to fizzle out along a cold front. It's going to kind of stall out to our west. So future track by noon, that's what I was talking about, showing at least some slightly organized rainfall. And because the front is stalling out, anything that develops along it will just kind of train over the same spots. So there's those thunderstorm chances. The good news is no severe weather expected for any of us. And as we head through the afternoon and into the early evening hours, once we really hit that peak daytime heating, we're going to see the opportunity for a few isolated pop-up storms for the rest of us. But not everyone will see rain today. But again, here we are even at 10 o'clock, that cold front just keeping some of that shower and thunderstorm activity going out by Yates Center and up toward Burlington. Once we go overnight, we dry out, we head into our Thursday. We're going to be mostly cloudy. We're still going to be pretty warm. They're just downright hot for most folks, but we'll have that opportunity for some additional pop-up showers out there. Nothing like what we're expecting today. Tomorrow's chances considerably lower, but at least there is a chance. UV index today is at an 11, which is extreme. So like yesterday, burn time less than 10 minutes for unprotected skin. So again, make sure you are taking appropriate precautions out there. Our heat risk is a bit better. We still have moderate, especially across parts of southeastern Kansas. It's always a little hotter out west. We also have the minor. So minor is those heat index values, say 90 to 95, and moderate is that 95 to 100 range. We'll hold on to slightly more manageable heat index values for some of us into Thursday, but by Friday, the moderate begins to overspread the rest of the area. By Saturday, we've got moderate to major. Major, again, is 100 to 105. Then by Sunday, get some of that purple, which is the extreme. And extreme starts to overspread the area a little more. There's a lot more of it by Monday, and that's where those heat index values could potentially be, even into Tuesday, in that 105 degree plus range. So it is really going to heat up by next week. So a quick reminder, get on those safety tips. Make sure you're taking your pets for early morning walks. Keep them indoors otherwise. Make sure you're keeping your kids hydrated or inside if they can be. If you do have to work outside, take frequent breaks, stay hydrated, and of course, make sure you're checking in on the elderly. Quick look outside. Again, mostly cloudy skies starting to build into the Joplin area right now from the rain way out to the west. 71, east-southeast breeze at 8. Temperatures this morning a little more manageable for some of us this morning. Upper 60s in our southeastern counties, low to mid 70s across the rest of the area, so just a pinch cooler for some of us. We get our morning started, partly cloudy skies, again maybe a few showers, a rumble of thunder in our far western counties, low 80s by late morning. We're going to highs today into the upper 80s and again maybe some low 90s. That continues into Thursday, but as we head into the weekend, we do see additional pop-up storm chances. We also see those temperatures climbing low, mid, potentially even upper 90s by next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Efforts are underway to save one of the rarest cat species in the world. The Scottish wildcat is more endangered than the Asian tiger, but UK scientists are fighting to revive their numbers. CBS's Ian Lee has more.
Don't be fooled by these cute kittens. These 4 felines are not cuddly, but they are key to saving the Scottish wildcat.
Just saw 4 little heads sitting on the top of the platform, and they quickly all hunkered down again once they saw me.
Also known as the Highland tiger, scientists believe roughly 300 are left, leaving the species critically endangered.
They are now so rare to see and so difficult to find that it's hard to actually pin a number on how many are left.
And unlike their domestic cousins, these cats avoid humans. So some scientists hope captive breeding programs across the UK can boost their numbers.
We've got a wildcat pair, and we suspected she was pregnant.
Today, wildcats call remote areas of the Scottish Highlands home, but once roamed across the entire island.
basically just suffered a huge degree of habitat loss, and we've just driven them further and further up the country.
That makes these little fur balls cause for celebration.
It's just completely elated by it. It's lovely to see.
These scientists hope to copycat the process across the entire country, so more of the UK can see the Highland tiger roar. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Scientists also try to keep wildcats away from domestic cats because they compete for food and also can breed together, which dilutes their gene pool. The giant panda is a celebrity at most zoos that have them, which can draw large crowds, but the number of wild bears is small. CBS's Ian Lee also has this story about their growing numbers.
A giant panda and her cub roam a forest in central China. Scientists recently showed video of the pair captured from an infrared camera, highlighting how efforts to reintroduce the bears into the wild are working. Our conservation efforts are paying off, and now our giant panda population is gradually increasing, he says. Previously, only 28 giant pandas were known to be in the area. For more than 2 decades, scientists have tried to reintroduce captive bears into the wilds of China. This video shows the giant panda's numbers are slowly growing. It's actually a bit difficult, but we train the bears to learn about their natural enemies from a young age, says this expert. Giant pandas are considered a vulnerable species. It's thought that there are fewer than 2,000 in the wild. China has established nature reserves to help revive their numbers, but even finding the elusive bears is tricky. When we come across dung or wildlife tracks, we will stop, record them, then do it again, he says. And they say they'll keep looking for them to make sure that one day their numbers grow as big as a, well, bear. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
We'll be right back. The U.S. Coast Guard was called in to help a teenage hiker and her family after she was injured on the trail in the Deschutes National Forest in Oregon on Sunday. Coast Guard members flew in to assist a 14-year-old who was stranded with her dad and her dog after she hurt her knee and couldn't hike back. The teen was located and put on a stretcher and brought back out to rescuers who then hoisted her up to safety. She was then taken to a local airport to meet emergency workers.
And we've got another hot one out there. We're going to go low 80s by late morning. Some pop-up storms possible as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures upper 80s and into the low 90s. And overnight tonight, we're going to fall back in the low 70s and pop-up storms start to die out as we lose the daytime heating. We'll have another check of your forecast and a lot more when the KOAM Morning News returns.